Okay, here, let's play a game of Resequence. This is a tabletop sim that we put together. We're working on a better version for the public, but I'm going to do a solo game right now just to kind of show everybody how it works, combined with our map system. So over on the resequencegame.com site, I have generated a map here in which this is you do the grids, how many rows you want, how many columns, and then you set the number of cards. And this is how difficulty is created. How many cards start on the board, how many spaces you have to play with. And considering that in a solo mode, you're playing with one faction that has 11 cards. You can have 11 cards in the solo mode, the base set, and then you remove all of the cards from that same faction from the other deck. So in this example, we're playing with the faction deck. Typically you would play with the defector deck and use a faction, but in the simulator it's easier for me to just use the faction deck. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and reveal the cards. As you can see, this is the same shape as the map here. I call it like the prison or the control center. So then we just reveal each of these cards. So we just flip them over because they're all random, and we see how the cards are going to affect each other. So we can do this all at once, but I figured let's take a look at how the board kind of plays out. Alright, so before we start, I'm going to be using Blood Crown, as you see on the far right bottom here. I'm then going to take my deck and I'm going to shuffle the deck. Well, first let me flip it over. I'm going to shuffle the deck, and then I'm going to draw three cards, or three to start with. So I'm going to draw 3 cards, and that's going to be my starting 3 cards. So we can move this around a little bit here so you can see my 3 cards to start with, and we can take a look a little bit more at how this is all shaping out. So if we look at the cards, how do they interact? Not a lot of huge interaction between these cards right now. These are actually helping each other because they're doing a -1 to that card, and this is a -2 back. Let's see, there's some good negatives, so this is a great space for a negative red or razor core. In general, this one's doing some bad things to that card, a +3, but this is helping with a -2. So as you see, they just interact, and it's random, so every game is going to be different. In this particular game, we're getting a lot more help than I would typically see, so it makes it a little easier if you can get some help right at the beginning. So let's go ahead and play one of our cards. So we're going to start by looking at where a good spot for one of these cards. Now the biggest challenge in this particular deal is all of these cards. I get to draw 1 card because you get to start with 4 in a solo play game. So I'm going to draw 1 more card, and that's great because that card allows me to play this without bringing a new card to the table, which is, you see this is a defector draw. The defector draws are basically going to fill in the spaces, and we're playing from corner to corner. So this corner here, and this corner to this corner, that is your grid. So how many spaces you have left will kind of tell you, how difficult it is when you start drawing new cards into those spaces that you can't control and that won't be your cards, right? So let's go ahead and start here with this wonderful Margravine Dorena. We're looking for a good place that could give us some positives. This one's a really good card for us. Gives us a positive. And this one is a really good card for us, a positive, and it's red. So let's go ahead and start with the fixer player right here. Alright, so that's excellent. That's going to make her an 11-12. It's going to reduce this 7 down. And no interaction back to there, but that's a tremendous start. So she's a fixer. So in order to play a fixer, you would draw 1 card, 1 additional card, and then you're going to take one of these cards and place it face down here. Well, if you see here, this is probably the least likely card that I'm going to play. I do have the other fixer. So for now, I'm going to put this card down over here, and we're going to fix that card outside the board range. The only way this card gets played in the game is if I play another fixer or a command card and use the fixer power to play that card at the same time. So for now, we're going to forget about that card and move on. So now my next turn, because there was no draws on that card, we're going to go ahead and draw one more card. And good, we've got a, let's see, oh, I forgot, by the way, to pull some Afterlife cards, which can happen. So we're going to pull some Afterlife cards. Oop, I am still new to this system. So, put that card. So these are all Afterlife cards in which can be pulled from. I could draw them, actually, all at once. Oh, we'll just keep flipping it. So I'll take one at a time. There's 6 to start. I think that is now 6. And we'll flip them all over. And these cards can be then pulled into the game by a River Duck. And actually, there's a few decent cards in there for us. But for now, I'm not doing any of that. Okay, so this is a good card in general because it's a net runner, but it's all positives to them. So we want to find a spot where we can do the least amount of damage. That looks like this spot right here. It's only a +1, but it gets that +4, which is just the best card to start with, honestly. And you can see it. We'll zoom in a little bit here so you can kind of see the interaction between the +4 here, and it's adding +1 back to that card. So it's a pretty good card. It's in the middle, so we kind of are working around that +4 for us. And now we can move a card because it is a net runner. And you can see here, it's a little small on here, but these are net runners. Just pay attention to the icons, and this is a fixer, and this is a cleaner. But you can zoom in and see that, and you can kind of get familiar with those pretty quick. So we want to look for a card that we can move around that would do us help, would make be more helpful to us. Well, this card has a +2 on it, so we want to kind of get that in a space. We know we're not going to play on this card because that -2. So maybe if we just stuck this card right here, now you can see that was a pretty good play. This -4 will reduce that to 0. This +2 will be available for us. We may have to do something with this card, but this is also a -2 back. So this is a good space for it. We probably want to do something about this card anyway because it's in the middle. So these 2 cards maybe we want to try to mess with later. The Netrunner has no draws, so we continue on. Next turn. Let's draw one more. Alright, that's a good one. That is a cleaner. And that can kill a card instantly. So I'll tell you the best play for that is already kind of this is, we want to save this spot for a plus card. So like a plus to us, like a +4 like this, but we don't really have one except right here, this Hawker. It's not the best one because really the Hawker might be better here because it can then reduce this card. It probably is worth doing that. Maybe we do that now. It could also be really good here, but because it's in the center, in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take the risk that because we still want to remove that card potentially. But look at that. It's a -3 to that and a +5 all around it. I'm probably still going to remove that card. But let's go ahead now and do the Hawker. But first, you have to now decide, do you want to draw or do the Hawker first? I'm going to go ahead and just take the risk and draw one. And let's see the ramifications of that decision. Not bad, but it's kind of in not a great position for us because this is not a card we want. As you can see, it has a -4. So we need to get this out of the way somewhere where it's not going to hurt us too much. I could put it here, but I really want a red card there. I'm actually just going to move this card down here and keep it out of the way. And it also creates a spot for a good negative blue card. Alright, so we did our draw. So now we go back and we do the Hawker power. Let's just look at that again. This is the Hawker. Draw is done. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And let's go ahead and draw 3 cards. Okay, this is how a Hawker works. It's a trader, essentially. So we reveal the 3 cards, and we are going to place one on the board. Those are really bad cards. We're going to place one on the board. We're going to swap one out, and we're going to throw one away basically. All three of those cards are not great. However, this one immediately stands out to me over here because we just talked about having a minus blue. Well, there it is. So that can reduce this and this by 3 points. So that's about as good a play as I see on the board. Yeah, that's it. That's the best play I got there. So that allowed that to happen. Now we've got this. So this is an interesting card. We got a -4. So what do we have that we can work a -4 here and a -4 on this one? This is a little less. So then we look kind of like, okay, we want to find a waterborne or this kind of aqua color, and this is a edge hunter color. So let's look and see if we've got anything. Well, this has a -2 to waterborne there. This is also a -2. We kind of wanted to get rid of this card. So that -4 is pretty good there. So, you know, it's tricky because this card here would also be pretty good right there for us. But I still think that it may not be that good. But we have a +4 and a -2. This card's really tough. So really, I think this is the card we're looking for right now, unless we have a good minus waterborne. I don't even see a really good... This one's not a good card. We could actually just swap this one out, right? This guy for this 10. That would be a good swap. Oh no, there's a +3 here. Well, that ain't gonna work either. A little bit more challenging. Well, you know what? This is a -4 Cloud Echo. I'm gonna do this instead for the moment because it's also got a -1 to those two. Now it does have to deal with that, but they kind of cancel out. You see, so like on this one here, I'm reducing that by 4, and this by 1, and this by 1. This is going to add 2 back, but it kind of cancels with those 2. So at this point, this card seemingly is better to get rid of this 4 for now, because I've got the ability here to just put this -4. They're not good cards, but maybe I get a nice minus Cloud Echo here, and I've gotten rid of a card here that was going to produce a negative onto my card. All right, so these 2 cards then get thrown out, placed in the afterlife. We'll put them anywhere over here, doesn't matter. Okay. And away we go. So we did all the hawking. Now we're going to draw another one. There we go. Now we're running lower on space on the position. So this is our command card. Great card. This one is really excellent in this spot. Now, it has a draw, and it is a fixer, so I'm going to save that spot for the moment, and let's focus on getting another kill. We want to move this out of the way, so this is a really nice little spot for this. It's got a -2. It's out of the way. The problem is it does add +1 to this, and maybe we can do something about it, but right now this is a problem card for us. It's a problem mainly because this is a huge value, +2, +5. That's a 7-point spot for us. So we're going to kill that, move it out of the way. Now we have a pretty open area that we've decided to go to this area and try to work it because the map looks like it. That would be the best place to work, right? So now we're done. No draws, so we're going to draw again. All right, that's a tough card to play on this board, but it is a +3. So it's a card that you'd probably want to fix and then play it at the end, or play it as your last play. But that -4 is really tough, but this +3 is really good. So, but let's go ahead and play this one here. So we get this in a nice little spot to add +2 to here, to get 2 back from this one, and to get +5 from that one. Now, what do we got? This is the command card, the Strategic War Cabinet. That command card allows you to play any of the moves like Cleaner, Hawker, Netrunner, whatnot. Right now, looking at this board, I mean, there's a lot of bad down here. This card is getting reduced quite a bit from here and here. This card is still pretty bad, pretty ugly. This card is not great. There's a lot of cards we can kill. So what do we have? It's likely that this is the next card we're going to play. So can we do anything for that card? He's going to go there. I think moving a red card into this spot is the play right now. And really, we can get this one out of the way and out of our hair, but it does have a -2 on it. So it's a tough call. We could also do this, but it's adding plus. So we got this card, and it's also reducing by 2. So all the red cards are good, but this is a -7 red card spot. So I'm going to get it out of our way, even with that. That makes that card worth 0. It gets the -1 out of our way, you see. So we no longer have to deal with the Blood Crown -1. But getting the -4 and -3 there makes it a 0. So that's all we did. We used the Netrunner. There is a draw. No, there is not a draw. So we continue on. Draw again. We're running out of cards. Now we got our Afterlife card. That's good. Ooh, that one works just beautifully right here. Look at that. -3. So you got this beautiful little -3 card. I guess this row's a little high. Move these down a bit. Okay. So now we got this -3 onto the 8. That 8 is getting pounded by -4, -3, -1, making it a 0. So we're really already set with a really nice board here. So that all this card is going to do, it's adding 2 back, and it's getting +5. So this is going to be a nice run for us. So what do we have over here in the Afterlife? We have to bring one back. The best card available to us is this +2 if we can put it in a space, and we certainly can. This card, if we can get it in the right spot, let's see, there's no way we can use the -4 right now, but we could put it in a spot where it's effectively like right here. Then it's going to get a well, shoot, we could actually do this. No, because we want that +4 spot. So we put it here, and it's basically a +1, a -1, but a -3. So it makes it a 3-point card, but it creates another nice space for 6 points to our card. You don't do the draws or anything when you pull something from the Afterlife or the powers. So here we go. Now we're going to get into the final cards. This seems to have a little problem, so I'm going to stick this just on the top here and then draw it from there, because I don't know why, but can't draw one card. Oh, we have one more card that doesn't have a draw, so we've kind of played this just about perfect. And look, that would have been a nice one there. It really has to connect with something, so that's a problem. Little bit of a problem. Because this card is a -3 in that spot. That's a tremendous card. But this card is a Hawker. And the Fixer, well, we need the Fixer too. So we can't trigger this Hawker for all its powers because we can't make a connection point. So I'm going to play this card in this spot. Okay. And we will only get 2 options. We don't get 3. So we would draw 2 cards here, because we didn't match. Now let me just explain that again. This right here is a Cloud Echo or a gray, and this is a orange, burnt orange, and Edge Hunter. None of the cards on the sides of that touch any of those. If that's the case, then it gets what's called the non-matching power. And the non-matching power is a power in which you can get, it's basically a reduced power. So instead of having 3 options here, I'm only going to get 2, and I have to do the place and replace. So those are not the best cards, but we can probably do something here. This card, for example, let's see. This card here has a -4 to this. So actually, here's a 6. It's getting a -2. So you actually can get a really nice play getting rid of this card. But it has a +3 on it. That's a shame. What else can we do? And this card has a -2 as well. Well, we could do that. We could just do this. But there's a +3 to it. Dang. So if you look at this, the challenge is this card right here would get it'd do -2, -2, and a +3 would come back to it. You could replace that, but it's a 2 versus an 8. You don't want to do that. These are very high valued cards. This one really only works and only helps against this one card on the board. So the only place you could deal with that would be here. you would lose the -1 to it. But you know what? There's a 2 there. So it's a -1 back to it. Okay, so we can do that. We can just replace that one. And that allows now for, instead of a +2 to the Edge Hunter, it's going to get a -1. So that turns that around. That's a 3-point swing, right? The +3 doesn't matter. It gets a -4 here. And then this one has doesn't do any other interactions. So the biggest thing is you had to, those 3 points swing there is 6 and 9 are basically the same. So what you're getting essentially is that -4. So okay, that one's done. Now we don't have a choice. This one's gonna have to go somewhere else. So where can we place it that won't absolutely kill us? Well, again, the best place is the same place that we would want, but here it doesn't have too bad an interaction. It's going to give us -1 and it's going to get 1 back, but we don't put it in a space that this space we need to save for our card. Okay, so that's what we'll do, and that's done. The hawker is done. So now we are left with drawing now from this deck. So when you're done with your own deck, you're going to do that, and you're going to draw a card from the defector deck or faction deck, whatever the draw deck is. Okay, so here we are. This is the card we're going to play right there. Whoops. So here, as you can see, the interaction is extremely positive. A +5, a +2, a -3, a -3, and that's why we had to save it. Now, 2 things are going to happen at once here. You have a draw, and you have a double draw on that one, and that is a fixer as well. Yeah, so the only thing we can really do here is, instead of doing this draw, I guess we could do that draw first, because then we can swap one of those. Okay, so we have 2 spaces left. What we hope is that this card can draw another card and close these spaces. That means all 3 of these cards would be available for what's called the last play. So let's go ahead and hope that this card draws another card. Let's see what it is. Oh. And this card is a... Ooh, didn't want to do that. Okay, split. And it can. Let's see, does it connect with anything? Oh, no. It can't. Anyway, it's a common. Alright, so that has to fill a space. Well, this is the worst space we got, I guess, because this space is... No, this is the worst. This is a good space. What am I thinking? Look at that. There's a -3 right there. That's a pretty good card. And now we play the fixer. So actually, interestingly enough, I don't have to play this card. It's a fixer. So I can actually play... What is that, a cleaner? Oh man, this might work out. And it matches, yep. Alright, so I'm going to fix this card. Ooh, maybe not, because then I'm stuck with that. Ooh, so it's a tricky play. If I fix one of these cards, I don't have another fixer. Okay? So if I don't have another fixer, then I'm stuck with this. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to fix this. Because I don't have another way to trigger a fixer. Say, for example, I put that down and I fix it and I draw again. What will end up happening... Oh, actually, I do get a draw, don't I? From my fixer. Hang on, let's draw one more. That doesn't help. So if I fix that card down, now the problem is I would not be... If I play in this spot, I can kill a card, right? But I'd have to trigger another fixer. So is it worth the risk? Maybe, maybe not. You know what? What the hell? Let's do it. Because I can trigger. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I fix this card. Now I have 2 cards down, and there's still a last play turn. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to draw another card. I ended up with a... Yeah, it's a Ripperdoc. It's not going to help. But we can do this. So this is a play. It's a last play again, but a last play doesn't really matter with a cleaner because you're going to remove a card. And because I matched, we're going to go ahead and do the draws first. You always want to do these draws first because they'll have nowhere to go. So when I draw that, all right, it goes over here. I'm going to draw that. excuse me. I'm going to draw that, flip it, and it goes over here. And now I can kill a card, because when the draws can't play, they just go to the afterlife. So now, oh, there's one more spot up here. Oh no. So I do have to play one of those in that spot. Probably this one. All right. Not the worst card. There's a -3, -2. I think that's about as good. So there's a spot there. All right. I still get to kill a card now, which will allow me to hopefully draw a fixer, because I have 2 cards over here I want. But let's kill a card that's the worst card on the board for us that we can see. This card isn't terrible. That's good. This one's pretty bad. We're going to kill that card. And it gives us, really, there's nothing we can match there except for this. And that's not the best card, but yeah, we're just going to take the risk. And now we're going to draw a new one. And let's hope we get something we can play. And we got a fixer, and it plays in that spot. Yes! Oh my god, how lucky. Alright, so now we can play this card. We can, now here's the thing, it's the last play. So what does the last play fixer give you? It gives you the ability to swap and play with these cards here. Because they're fixed. Now, I want to do, of course, the draws first. Again, the same basic thing. Get rid of those draws. So once you draw a card, of course I've messed up the deck, but who cares? Alright, once you draw those cards, then you can then say, alright, it's a fixer, it's the last play. I can then swap with one of these guys. So let's swap with the one that has these minuses. Swap with that. This would then trigger, because it's a fixer. Alright, so you would draw the, 2 more cards. And flip those over. They don't matter at all, because we're not going to do anything with them. And then we could swap again with this fixer. But in this case, we'll decide not to do it, because this is doing a -2 and a -1. And that is it. So the game would have ended at that point. Put all your cards back. And now you do the count. And the count is, on a solo play, it takes a little longer to do, but in general, you would do the count as follows. You just zoom in, and we're going to start by pulling up a calculator, because that's the easiest way right now. Eventually, we look at doing a AR counter app that will allow you to just put it over the board and it will count it for you, but it's actually not that difficult. So let's go through the count real quick and see what we see. This is just a 3, there's no interactions, so we'll add a 3. This -2 is actually a -4. The 10 is a -3, -4, so that makes that a 3. The 6 is a -1 on the 6, so it's a 5. The 7 has a -2 for 5, a -2 more for 3. This 1 has no interaction, so it's a 1. The 5 here has a -2, -3, it's a 0. The 8 is just a +1, so that's a 9. The 4 gets a -3, making it a 1. And a -4, which makes it a -3. That's a good one. This 5 gets -3 for 2. This 9 is a -2 for 7, another -2 for 5. The 7 is a -7 +1, so it actually ends up with a +1. We skip all of our cards. We're doing this 8 here for a 9. We have this 8 here, that's -2, that's a 6, but +3. So we got a 9. This 6 gets a -4 for 2. This 8 is a -2, right? Yeah, -2, and then +1, and then a -1. So they cancel each other out, so it's basically a 6 when you minus the 2. This 6 gets a +1, so it's a 7. -3 is a 4. -1 is a 3 more. The 2 here is, let's see, is a -1, making it a 1. -2, making it a -1. This 10 has a -1, so it's a 9. Over here, this 5 is a -2, so that is a 3. The 8 is a -4, is a 4. -3 is a 1. -1 is a 0. This 8 is just an 8. This 6 is a -2, which makes that a 4. This 10 is a -4, making it a 6. And finally, the 9 is just a 9. So they end up with 92 points. 92. And you remember that number, then we go back to the top and we just count ours. And we'll see who won. So we just look along and find our first card, and we got this 8 plus 2 is a 10, plus 5 is a 15. This 7 plus 1 is an 8, plus 4 is a 12. This 7 plus 2 is a 9, minus 1 is an 8. This 7 plus 3 is a 10, plus 5 is a 15, plus 2 is a 17. The 4 is a 6, plus 2 is an 8. The 9 is a plus 9, actually, is 18, plus 2 is a 20. Wow, that's a big one. This -4 is a -5, plus 4, so it's a -1. The 9 is a 12, plus 5 is a 17, plus 2 is a 19. This 10 is a 12, plus 4 is a 16. And finally, this 6 is a 5. And our score, 119. So, as you can see, we won 119 to 92. And interaction-wise, we got pretty lucky on not a difficult setup. But like Solitaire or any other game like that, like a puzzle, you might get boards that are almost impossible to win. You can increase the difficulty by decreasing the amount of spaces on the board. And you can generate any kind of map you want using our tools. And you can basically create, extraordinarily hard ones and try to beat it. Or you can go with something mid-level, or you can make it easy. So there's all types of ways that you can play Resequence, and I think that this is a great example of how you can do it. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the game, and I hope you enjoy the walkthrough, and Resequence. Come back at any time on Kickstarter, or buy it in the stores if we're already past that. So have a good one.